When archaeologists go searching for finds, they're hoping to learn more about our ancestors and how they once lived, but they don't always uncover those answers. Sometimes, all they're left with after examining their latest finds are even more questions. Everything we're about to show you in this video is an incredible archaeological discovery, yet researchers, historians, and experts haven't been able to pinpoint their purpose or origin with any certainty. Let's begin with number 15. Stone coffer in the King Sip's chamber. Well, let's go to the land of Egypt for this find. Inside the king's chamber of the Great Pyramid of Giza sits a granite coffer, sometimes called a sarcophagus, though it never held a body. It's the only item in the room, and as far as we know, has always been there. What makes it strange is its material. The coffer is carved from granite, but the chamber's walls and floor are limestone. And there's no way it was brought in after construction. It doesn't fit through the passageways, nor was it built piece by piece on site. That means the structure was likely built around it, suggesting it held great significance. Yet it served no funerary purpose. There were no remains, objects, or writings. It was just the box. After 4,500 years, it's still sitting in the same spot with no clear explanation. The ancient Egyptians didn't leave anything to chance. If this was placed there with such effort, it meant something. But exactly what it was meant for, no one has figured out. Number 14. Human-like footprints in Crete. Back in October 2021, archaeologists found a set of human-like footprints on the Greek island of Crete that sent shockwaves through the scientific community. According to geological dating, the prints are over 6 million years old. That opens up a massive question: were they left by an ape or by one of our earliest human ancestors? If the latter, it would shake up everything we thought we knew about early human evolution. Sorry, Darwin. The accepted theory says the first humans came from Africa. But if these footprints are human, it might place our origins in the Mediterranean instead. There are two distinct trackways near the village of Trashilos, both on an ancient beach. What stands out most is the shape. The impressions show full foot contact, with toes and metatarsals flat on the ground. That's a key sign of bipedal walking, and it's not how apes walk. These tracks challenge the timeline and location of human emergence, but like most ancient discoveries, this bold, full acceptance will take time. Until then, it's a complete mystery. Number 13, 17th century palm reading chart. We all know palm reading isn't real. You can't decode someone's fate by tracing the lines on their hands, but our ancestors believed in it deeply. And the amount of detail in this 17th century palmistry chart shows how serious they were. This woodcut illustration is from Liu, published by Jean-Baptiste Belot in 1640. Belot believed palmistry had a scientific basis, and this chart was meant to prove it. He linked astrological and zodiac meanings to each finger and segment of the hand, even though that undermined his claim to science. According to him, a small patch of flesh under the thumb pointed to bigamy, incest, illegitimate children, or lechery. One line on top of the thumb meant you'd die from fear. There was even a perfect length your love line had to reach if you were destined for victory in love. Today, it sounds like superstition, but as a historical artifact, it says a lot about how far people once went to make sense of their lives. Number 12. Alligator Effigy Mound. The alligator effigy mound sits quietly in Ohio and dates back to between 800 and 1200 AD. Built by the Fort Ancient culture, the mound wasn't made for burials. It was most likely used for rituals. Along with the famous Serpent Mound in Adams County, it's one of only 2 intact effigy mounds in the state. Effigy mounds like these were far more common in the regions we now call Illinois, Iowa, and Wisconsin. Many still survive in those states, but Ohio has just a few. In 1999, archaeologists Brad and Todd led a full study of the site. A charcoal sample from the mound's base helped date it to around the year 950. Interestingly, Lepper believes the mound doesn't represent an alligator at all. Based on its shape and cultural ties, he says it's an underwater panther, a powerful mythological figure in Native American traditions. Early European settlers likely misunderstood what they were told and simply named it after a predator they recognized. Number Elf Angkor Wat. hospital statue. Even in a place as explored as Angkor Wat, new discoveries are still being made. In the early 2020s, archaeologists found a large sandstone statue just 2 feet below the surface while digging around one of the ancient hospital sites inside the Angkor Wat temple complex. Experts believe the statue was originally placed at the entrance to serve as a guardian. Based on style and context, it likely dates back to the 12th century during the rule of King Jayavarman VII. He reigned from 1181 to 1220 and was known for establishing public hospitals and welfare, which was progressive for the time. Angkor Wat itself began in the 9th century but grew continuously for nearly 500 years. Even with millions of tourists visiting every year, parts of the site remain untouched. The statue's arms and legs were broken, but all fragments were recovered, so restoration is possible. It's another reminder that Angkor Wat still holds a lot of secrets. Number 10. Cave nativity scene in Egypt. Everyone knows the classic nativity scene. Star in the east, newborn child, parents. But this one's different. It was painted on the ceiling of a cave in Egypt's Sahara Desert, and it's about 5,000 years old. That's more than double the age of Christian tradition. The image was drawn using red ochre, a pigment commonly used in prehistoric times. Its resemblance to the Christian story has mostly been dismissed as a coincidence. Maybe it was just a family celebrating the birth of a child. But there are details that still raise eyebrows. A star in the east. A baby is painted slightly above its parents, as if elevated toward the sky. These might have been symbolic or spiritual in some unknown context. Some scholars suggest early Christians may have drawn inspiration from earlier imagery like this. After all, ancient religions often borrowed from one another. We can't know for sure, but this painting adds another layer to the long story of belief. Number 9. Set Balam. In Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula, there's a lesser-known Mayan site called Balam. It's far less visited than more famous sites in the region, and that adds to its mystery. Though it was first identified in the 1800s, serious archaeological work didn't begin there until the 1980s, and even then those surveys were limited. One of its most intriguing features is the tomb of King Ukit Khan Luktok, buried in a chamber within the site's largest pyramid. What makes it exceptional is the plaster covering the tomb. It's in pristine condition, as though it were applied yesterday. A 1300-year-old tomb that's still intact isn't especially rare, but one with plaster this fresh is unheard of. Evidence suggests that Balam flourished in the 8th century, but saw a sharp decline by the 11th century. Yet no one knows why the population abandoned the site so suddenly. It's clear there's much more to learn from Balam. For now, all we can do is hope further excavations happen. Number 8. Vale de Pedra Ferrada stone tool. Back in 2016, a puzzling stone object was found at the Pedra Ferrada archaeological site in Brazil. At the time, nobody knew what to make of it. But by late 2021, experts began to suspect that it might be the most significant archaeological discovery ever made in the country. The artifact, now believed to be 24,000 years old, could change everything we thought we knew about early human settlement in the Americas. The standard view is that humans arrived here around 15,000 years ago, but this would push that date back nearly 10,000 years. The object is hexagonal, symmetrical, and clearly shaped by human hands, but it doesn't appear to be a tool. There's no clear function. It may have served a symbolic or ceremonial purpose. That's just speculation, though, because there's nothing else quite like it. No similar artifacts exist for comparison. Until more evidence shows up, all archaeologists can do is guess. Number 8. Urak Rumachi. Now to Peru, where we find Urak Rumi, an ancient carved megalith. That's a formal way of saying it's a massive stone, shaped for unknown reasons. Not every side has been carved, which led some archaeologists to believe the work was never completed. Aerial views of the formation support that theory. Nobody knows what it would have become if it had ever been finished. The rock surface is covered with holes of different sizes placed at uneven intervals and stairs that go up, down, and sideways, but never actually lead anywhere. Stranger still, there's no visible trace of tool marks on the entire formation, no sign of chiseling, no evidence of carving methods. It doesn't look like it was shaped with traditional stone tools at all. And yet, the rock is believed to be thousands of years old. So if it didn't work with the tools we expect, what was used? Uruk Rumi doesn't offer many clues. It remains one of Peru's most weird enigmas. Number 6. Rare Oak Iron Age idol in Ireland. Ireland's bogs are known for preserving ancient artifacts, and in August 2021 they gave up another. Near Gortnacarrow in County Roscommon, archaeologists uncovered an 8-foot-tall wooden idol carved from oak. Its shape is humanoid but abstract, with deep horizontal notches carved along its body. Its meaning remains uncertain. Only a dozen wooden figures like this have ever been found in Ireland, and this one is the tallest. Its pointed base suggests it once stood upright, likely planted in the earth. That points toward ritual use, possibly as a spiritual symbol or guardian figure. The area's history supports that idea. Numerous votive offerings, animal bones, weapons, gold, even human remains have been uncovered nearby. Whoever made the idol may have eventually buried it as an offering itself. Roughly 1,600 years later, it remains silent but intact, protected by peat and time. These wooden figures rarely tell their full story, but they speak volumes about the beliefs and rituals of the people who shaped them. Number 5. Kinderhook plates. Sometimes the story behind an artifact is even wilder than the artifact itself. That's the case with the Kinderhook plates, named after the Illinois town where they were supposedly found back in May 1843, before AI and computers. Merchant Robert Wiley claimed he unearthed 6 metal plates inside a burial mound, along with burnt stones and bones. No one ever explained why a merchant was digging into a burial site to begin with. One of his local assistants took the plates home, cleaned them, and found what looked like Egyptian-style hieroglyphs. Once word reached Joseph Smith, the founder of the Mormon religion, the story exploded. Smith said he translated the plates and declared that the bones belonged to a royal descendant of Ham, son of Noah, with Egyptian blood. For decades, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints held the plates to be authentic. In truth, Wiley had them forged in a blacksmith shop before ever finding them. It was a hoax, but one that fooled people for more than a century. Number 4. Comox Harbor Fish Traps. Locals around Vancouver Island's Comox Harbor always knew the shoreline was strange. When the tide recedes, thousands of small wooden stakes appear from the ground, visible for generations but never clearly explained. That changed in 2021 after a study led by Nancy Green and researchers from North Island College. The stakes turned out to be part of a sophisticated fish trap system, dating back around 1,300 years. In total, 13,626 individual traps were identified, making it the largest known fish trap network in North America, possibly the entire world. The technique had been lost to time, erased after the 1862 smallpox epidemic. Following the outbreak, authorities outlawed indigenous fisheries, and enforcement officers destroyed or buried traps across the region. In this case, they covered them with sand. A 1940s earthquake disturbed the landscape and exposed them again, but by then, no one remembered their origin. It took archaeology to finally explain what thousands of locals had walked past without ever truly seeing. Number 3. The Relic Chapel at the Church of the Most Holy Redeemer. The Relic Chapel inside the Church of the Most Holy Redeemer, which is located in Manhattan, is said to house the remains of Saint Dacian, an early Roman martyr. But whether that's true or not is a different matter. Verifying the bones is impossible. They're sealed inside a wax figure resting beside the altar. According to the church, a wealthy Italian lady brought the remains to America in 1892, supposedly to keep them from being seized by the Italian state. The church holds an unusually large number of relics said to be from saints, which has led to speculation that many of them may not be authentic. In St. Dacian's case, there's even a rumor that the bones belong to a policeman killed while stopping a robbery at the church in the early 90s. Church officials strongly deny that claim, but they've never permitted scientific testing. Without proper analysis, the truth will remain buried, along with whatever name belongs to the person in the wax shell. Number 2. Ancient Greek helmet in Israel. In 2020, divers in Haifa Bay, Israel, discovered a bronze warrior's helmet in remarkably intact condition. The helmet still bore intricate gold leaf decorations of lions and snakes, unusual survivals after 2,600 years underwater. Experts believe it belonged to a Greek mercenary who served under Egyptian pharaoh Necho II. A helmet of similar design was found near the Italian island of Giglio in the 1950s, but this one is in even better shape. Its level of craftsmanship suggests the soldier who wore it was wealthy. Most foot soldiers couldn't afford something this elaborate. There's no sign of a wreck nearby, so it's possible the helmet was lost or thrown overboard during a voyage. At the time, Egypt was known to recruit Greek warriors, valuing their skill and aggression in combat. The mystery remains how it ended up in Haifa Bay, but its survival, along with its striking details, gives a rare window into elite battlefield gear from a turbulent ancient world. Number 1. Borobudur Temple. A temple as vast as Borobudur in Magelang, Indonesia needs an origin story just as massive, and it has one. Legend claims that an entire army of monks worked by hand to construct the enormous 8th century monument. Considering it's built from over 180,000 cubic feet of volcanic stone, that's a staggering idea. The structure isn't just huge, it's incredibly detailed. Over 500 Buddha statues and carved reliefs line the path to the top of the tiered pyramid, offering glimpses into life in Buddhist-era Java. But even with all that information, the temple still holds mysteries, like why it was suddenly abandoned in the 1300s. After that, it stood forgotten for 5 centuries. What's even stranger is its location, surrounded by active volcanoes and sitting on ground known for seismic activity. For 500 years, with no upkeep, it survived earthquakes and eruptions. We still don't fully understand how Borobudur was constructed or how it lasted so long without collapsing under the weight of time and nature. If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for hanging with us, and we'll see you soon in the next one.